Okay, hi all. We'll just wait. It's 5, and we'll just go get started. But perhaps if we'll just wait a few minutes to see who else is coming in. But let me just give you some, basic tips on this webinar. First of all, welcome to all those who are on the call. Number two, later on at the end of the presentation and the session, we'll if you can, we'll like you to fill up a feedback form, which we'll post in the chat, right, Dr. Nadia, in the chat. And if you guys can just fill that in later on, it's just to help us to get feedback on what we need to improve. Number one, and number two, maybe you can suggest some topics that you like to hear. We are always open to that. Okay. Because obviously these webinars are for you guys. It's not for us, but it's for everyone here. During the call, during the presentations, appreciate if everyone can mute their microphones, and also to and if you have any questions for the presenter or for anyone else, please go to the chat function and type in your question. If you feel that you need to speak to ask the question, that's fine. Just let me know, and we'll get you to go and speak, to ask the question online. Okay. I'm just going to send a message in the chat group, in the chat there, to see if everyone can just see us. Okay. Do you all see that message I just sent to everyone? Okay, great. Okay, perhaps we can get started. Firstly, welcome everyone. We're to this webinar number 2, called Embracing the experiences of a colorectal cancer survivor. My name is Thomas, and I'll be your co-host together with Dr. Nadia. Dr. Nadia will be also a presenter. She is a medical doctor, qualified, and she's now doing her PhD in public health at the University of Malaya. And during this time, as part of her, I guess, training, she's actually an intern as well with CORUM. And hence she's the one helping us to do this webinar. She will talk to you about some quick facts about colorectal cancer, importance of screening, and also to find a way to continue the support group in the midst of COVID-19. So with that, I'll just leave it to her to start her session. This will take about 15 minutes. And then the next speaker will be about 15 minutes, Haji Jamil, and then we'll have a Q&A. Okay?
I think Haji Jamil is here already.
Oh, okay. Welcome, Haji Jamil.
Welcome. Sorry, I just back from mosque.
Oh, no problem. No worries. No worries. All in good time. Don't worry. All in time.
Okay.
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 Haji Jamil. Okay, now we'll start with Dr. Nadia first for her part of the presentation, and then later on we'll come to you, and then if anyone later, each one about 15 minutes, and then the last one will be a question and answer session. If there's anyone to ask you the presenters any questions, or just to ask general questions. Okay.
Okay then.
All right. So now I'll let Dr. Nadia start with her presentation.
Okay.
Nadia?
So I'll start with my presentation. I'll share this slide with you guys. Okay. So can you see the slide?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So hi everyone. So thank you for joining us today. for also because it's over the weekend, right? So for sacrificing your weekend to join and be with us today. So okay. So today, as mentioned by Thomas.
That's fine. I will.
Okay, Thomas. Okay.
I will mute them. Don't worry, I'll mute them. But they can unmute if they want to ask questions later. Okay. Go ahead.
Sure. Okay. So I'll be talking about quick facts of colorectal cancer and also navigating online support group. Okay, for those who have joined our previous session with Datuk Mahesh, so I think he already mentioned about colorectal cancer being the second most common cancer in Malaysia. So the rate of colorectal cancer actually increasing throughout the year. So being said so, as a Malaysian, so the chances of getting or having diagnosed with colorectal cancer is 1 in 55 for male and 1 in 75 for female. Means that if you are a male, so among 55 male, you might have the chance of getting colorectal cancer. So this is the risk factor, and also it is important for us to understand the risk factor in order for us to actually know how to prevent it. But when we talk about risk factor, there is two types of risk factor. One is modifiable. Modifiable means that the risk factor that you will be able to change. As an example, like your diet, the nutrition that you take. When we talk about colorectal cancer, we always advise for people to go for a high fiber diet, to reduce processed food, and then to do a lot of exercise. This both combination of lifestyle modification can actually reduce the risk of obesity, because obesity itself is a risk factor for colorectal cancer. Other than that is smoking and heavy use of alcohol. So non-modifiable risk factor are things like your age, genetic, and also family history. This is the thing that you might not be able to change. When we talk about age itself is considered as a sole risk factor. So even without having any symptoms, you should actually undergo screening. But when people sometimes ask, so if I don't have any symptoms, how could I possibly know that I have cancer? So this is where screening comes in. So screening is important. So for colorectal cancer, it is important to actually do a yearly screening, especially if you are at the age of 50 years and above. Even though you have no symptoms, no family history of colorectal cancer, you are already considered as in the moderate risk group. So those in moderate risk group, usually we recommend to do an annual screening using stool test. So probably some of you have heard of this stool test, where it's actually provided for free in the government health clinic. So besides the stool test, we can also do scope, which is either sigmoidoscopy or colonoscopy. So when we talk about this stool test, it's actually also known as fecal or cut blood test. So it is a very simple and affordable test. It is available for free in the government clinic. And actually, for those eligible age 50 and above, without any symptoms, you are actually eligible to doing this test. Okay, I could say that this test is an affordable test. You could also do this test in private hospital or even in private lab. The cost is about 15 ringgit, and it is recommended for you to actually undergo this test yearly. So if you could see that in the picture here, so it's actually a very simple test, but some people still think that they don't want to do this test because they don't want to handle the stool, and they think that it is dirty to do such tests. But in the Western country, it is actually widely available, and people start having the awareness to do this test yearly, even though they have no symptoms. So I think it is important for us to understand that this test is a screening test, and whenever it is tested positive, those with positive results still have to undergo colonoscopy as a gold standard. where colonoscopy is where you need to undergo for confirmation. Okay, but without positive result of this stool test, if you don't have any family history or if you are not in the high risk group, you could avoid doing colonoscopy, which is much more costly. So the take-home message here, if you have any individual age 50 and above who have no symptoms, no family history, and never undergo any screening, so inform that they should actually do at least once a fecal occult blood test, but it is recommended to actually do yearly. So even though when you go to the health clinic, you can actually undergo this test, it is available for free. So you can ask from the government health clinic, probably sometimes they will give you an appointment for you to undergo this test. Okay, so I'll move on to navigating cancer using online communities. So when we talk about online community, in the midst of COVID-19, everything has changed, right? Most of the things, people start working at home. We start using a lot of webinars, Zoom meeting and all. So why it is actually important to talk about and navigating cancer using online community? So before we go further, I would like to ask you a simple question that how do you feel at first when you first diagnosed with cancer, or probably if you are diagnosed with cancer? So at that point of time, probably there is a lot of things that is playing in your mind. You might feel anxiety, fear, you will think about the financial issue, family issue and all. So all this effect is considered as psychosocial effect. So being said so that when we talk about our health, physical health is important, but our mental health is equally important. But because mental health is something invisible, so people rarely talk about it. People always hide about their own emotions. Okay.
Yeah.
So just to share on a recent article from I read in Metro. So this young lady, 45 years old, she's actually diagnosed with a recurrent colorectal cancer, and she decided to jump off the building once she got the diagnosis. So it is a very sad news. There are also studies that shows cancer survivor might have high level of psychological distress. So being said so that it is recommended that the individual is offered with social and emotional support to alleviate all the distress. But I could say that each and every one of us is different. How we handle our stress, how we see our perception towards things are different. So by having this online support group, we could actually share our insight, share our experience. So sometimes, even though when we feel that we are able to cope with everything, it is okay to seek for help. So for online cancer community, I think it's a very good way, like what CORUM is also actually doing now. During this COVID-19, they have actually shifted the way of the psychosocial support, the peer support, from offline, from face-to-face to online. So it is actually a convenient channel that allowing peer support. And it is an effective way to provide social and emotional support. So the idea is the same, is by sharing the experience and advice on how they cope and how they go through the journey of colorectal cancer. It might be helpful in terms of removing the barriers of logistics, increasing the opportunity to meet and share experience with other people from probably outside KL and Selangor. So, and during the COVID-19 also, this actually create a room for us to reduce contact and enable the continuity of support group programs. So, a journey to become informed. So, why it is important for me to talk about navigating online community is for us to spread the news that such thing exists. So probably for the time being, we might not think that we want to use such program or might not get involved, but spreading the news, probably tell our friends, our peers, our family or other people that such program exists, they might benefit from it. We might able to help them. Okay, so I think that's all from me. So thank you very much. So if you have any question, you can ask at the end of the session. So back to you, Thomas. Thank you.
Hi all. Thanks, Dr. Nadia. Thank you very much for that. Very informative. I mean, I think the message I got there was, I think for most of you guys, is not just the physical, battle against cancer, but also the mental, the mental well-being. This overcomes, whether it's prayer, whether it's anything, this overcomes a lot of things. Okay, so now the next. Again, just a gentle reminder: if you have any questions for this session, for this session here, please post it in the chat, and I will later on when we come to the Q&A, we will do. I will highlight it, and then we'll post the question to whoever is relevant. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Then the next speaker is Haji Jamil, who has kindly volunteered to share his experience. Just a brief on him. Haji Jamil was diagnosed with colorectal cancer at age 27. And that's about 30 odd years ago. He's been on a stoma bag. I will let him explain and introduce himself later. And he'll be sharing his experience and journey. And his what I understand, a very, very active social and life as well. Okay, so Haji Jamil, the floor is yours. If you can unmute yourself and talk.
Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullah to those Muslims, and good evening to you, Thomas. Saya Muhammad Jamil telah didiagnos pada tahun 87 pada usia 27 tahun. 27 tahun, saya ingat plus lah, maybe going to be 28 lah. Dan saya pakai stoma ni daripada 87 sampai sekarang, roughly about 33 plus. Pada mulanya saya memang takutlah apabila doktor diagnosekan saya ada CA rectum, dan doktor memberitahu pada saya kena pakai bag stoma di sebelah kiri perut saya. Tapi saya minta pada doktor tunjukkan contoh pada saya orang yang pakai stoma tu. Tapi pada masa itu doktor tak dapat nak tunjukkan pada saya, sebabnya tak ada pada masa itu. Tak ada pada masa itu kerana pada masa itu 30 tahun yang lalu sangat baru kes ini. Jadi doktor tak ada tunjukkan saya. Jadi saya pun rasa sedih lah. Saya rasa sedih. Pada doktor, saya minta doktor supaya bagi saya cuti sebulan ke, saya nak berubat di kampung. Tapi setelah saya berubat di kampung, saya tak boleh. 2 bulan saya berubat di kampung, masih tak ada juga tanda-tanda baik. So saya balik ke hospital dan doktor terus bagi tahu kat saya, inilah patient yang... Jadi saya minta pada doktor supaya bagi tahu, saya minta cuti sebulan ke. Jadi doktor bagi saya cuti dan saya terus berubat kampung. Tapi setelah berubat di kampung, saya juga tak ada tanda-tanda baik lah. Makin sakit ada, dan selepas sebulan ke 2 bulan, saya terus pergi hospital semula di Kajang. Saya terus hospital semula di Kajang. saya terus hospital di Kajang, di Kuala Lumpur, dan doktor admit saya, dan keesokannya saya terus dioperate. Sejak pada itu saya sedar yang saya ni telah pakai bag lah, ada stoma bag di sebelah kiri. Tentang penjagaan diri, saya pada mulanya memang rasa sedih lah, kerana saya masih muda dan masa tu saya baru saja married lah. Saya baru kahwin dan saya cukup sedih dengan saya takut isteri saya tak mau terima saya, anak-anak saya, keluarga saya tak mau terima. Tapi sebagai seorang Islam, saya terima adanya sebab Allah bagi yang terbaik untuk saya. Dan saya rasa keluarga saya, isteri dan anak-anak, begitu juga dengan ibu bapa saya, memberi sokongan pada saya. Kawan-kawan di pejabat pun memberi sokongan pada saya, terus jangan risau. Dia membuatkan semangat saya terus untuk terus hidup, terus kuat menghadapi semua ini. Dari segi contoh, dari segi kawan-kawan di ofis, keluarga, dan ustaz-ustaz pun ada memberitahu, kerana Allah bagi yang terbaik untuk kamu. Jangan risau, kamu mesti kuat. So saya terus kuat dan terus sehinggalah sekarang. Dan sehingga sekarang saya rasa penjagaan stoma ni bagi saya tidak menjadi masalah, kerana dari awal saya dipakai bag ni, saya sendiri saja yang membuatnya. Pemakaian, pemotongan semua saya sendiri. Saya tidak suruh isteri saya, dan saya tidak suruh sesiapa pun, maupun membeli bag ataupun buat cutting kepada pos itu sendiri. Dan di pejabat pula kawan-kawan memberi sokongan yang hebat, yang baik, kerana dia kata awak masih muda, darah masih kuat, teruskan hidup. Kawan-kawan dan pihak pengurusan pejabat saya pun memberi kelonggaran, keringanan untuk bekerja, tidak beratlah, kerja ringan. Saya sebenarnya pada masa dulu saya kerja di bahagian store lah, kerani di bahagian store, jadi angkat barang, turun barang, tapi pengurusan memberi tahu awak tak payah buat angkat-angkat barang, just tik barang, terima barang saja. Sokongan majikan itu membuatkan saya terus ingin lagi kuat untuk terus menjaga kesihatan saya, dan saya juga anak-anak yang membuatkan semangat saya. Saya nak tengok anak-anak saya terus membesar, bersekolah, dan masuk universiti, berkahwin, dan saya mempunyai cucu. Itu membuatkan semangat saya untuk terus sehinggalah sekarang. Jadi saya rasa sebenarnya tak ada apa lagi nak cakap. Kalau in case ada soalan-soalan, bolehlah diajukan kepada yang berkenaan lah, sama ada Dr. Nadia ataupun saya sendiri. Terima kasih Mr. Thomas dan rakan-rakan.
Okay, 1 second. Sorry. Okay. Sorry, interruption there. Thank you, Encik Jamil. Haji Jamil. Thank you very much. Terima kasih banyak. Again, I think the gist of the story of Haji Jamil's sharing, the message seems to be he received a lot of support from family, from employer, from various people. I think this reinforces what Dr. Nadia's message about, you know, the mental health, apart from the physical battle. Just a reminder, Haji Jamil is a stoma bag user for the past 30 odd years. So, you know, and perhaps the first question is, how has that been for Haji Jamil? Apa macam what is life like having a stoma bag? Because saya tahu you sudah buat haji kan, so you must have traveled.
Yes. Okay. Thank you, Mr. Thomas. Buat haji, saya memang sediakan beg yang banyak lah. Because saya doktor suggest to me, I boleh irrigate. So bila saya irrigate, so the feces won't come out for at least 3 or 4 days. So at least I save my pouch, I save I punya journey, tak payah kita nak buat motion this and that for at least 4 days. Another 4 days, and then kita boleh buat irrigate lagi. So continue irrigate. 1 week, maybe twice irrigate. So you boleh save a lot of cost. So you save a lot of money. Saya juga, me is also one of the participant climbing mountain in UITM. I was working in UITM, swimming, playing what you call just slow badminton, just light badminton, walking here and there. That is for me. Friends make me life more better, and as a Muslim, we must happy. We must happy. Every day is happy. All the time must happy. So if you feel sad, you won't cover everything. Your sick become worse. Eat whatever you want, but not too much. Yes. That's all, Mr. Thomas.
Yeah. You mentioned swimming as well. So how do you overcome that swimming?
Okay. You put new bag when you want to swim. Just put a bag as usual. Then you swim. Not swimming in the pool only. Don't swimming in the sea. Swimming in the pool doesn't matter. It won't trouble for you. So if you feel that your pouch, what you mean your pouch is cannot use really, you can throw it away. But when you swim, you will feel your pouch is maybe bocor already, whatever. So you change the new one.
Okay, we have a question from Ching Chong.
Okay.
I can't. Okay. Yes. Okay. You can ask your question. You are unmuted already. You can ask your question.
Thank you, Thomas. Thank you. Tuan Haji, selamat petang, and Dr. Nadia, selamat petang, and good afternoon to all. Tahniah, Tuan Haji, for your great success story this far. Cuma yang saya nak tanya Tuan Haji ialah selepas Tuan Haji dapat tahu yang penyakit ini dan lepas operate, ada ke apa-apa perubahan cara hidup Tuan Haji yang signifikan, yang sangat membantu kejayaan Tuan Haji, yang Tuan Haji boleh berkongsi dengan kami semua?
Sebenarnya keluarga yang membantu, membuatkan saya semangat untuk terus hidup lah. Memanglah pada mulanya pada usia 27-28 tahun ni, 27 dan 28 tahun memang kita rasa kita masih muda untuk having a stoma and just married. Kita fikir Mrs. will run away from me. In my mind, dalam kepala saya, think like that. Alamak, this was like this, Mrs. will lari lah. But God that Mrs. pun understand. Married ni not because of that only, because of sharing together. So itu yang buatkan saya terus semangat, terus semangat untuk terus hidup lah, untuk terus berjaya dan terus mengharungi cabaran sehingga sekarang.
So Tuan Haji, dari segi makanan ada apa-apa perubahan ke tidak yang dari segi diet Tuan Haji dan juga dari segi exercise, hidupan harian, ada apa-apa perubahan ke tidak?
Okey. Pada awal operation 3 bulan selepas operation memanglah kita takut untuk makan seperti pedas, seperti kari, tapi setelah 6 bulan operation tu saya makan semua. Cuma yang kita kurang makan benda-benda berangin seperti pedas, nangka, ubi, kentang, buah sukun. Itu buatkan benda berangin. So bila kita makan itu, benda berangin tu dia akan membuatkan pos kita akan kembung dan perut kita pun tak selesa. So itu yang saya tidak makan. Tapi makan kita hanya sedikit saja, tidak banyak. Kalau kita rasa kita nak makan ubi, kita makan sikit, sekeping 2. Tapi saya memang tidak berubah langsung tentang makanan. Saya sekarang ni semua saya makan. Tapi makan dengan yang kadar yang sedikit. Kita sekadar untuk makan, bukannya untuk kenyang. Kita dapat rasa ubi tu macam mana, kita dapat rasa durian tu macam mana, it's okay. Dan saya menjalani kehidupan exercise sikit-sikit. Saya salah seorang daripada peserta UiTM memanjat bukit, memanjat gunung hampir di seluruh Malaysia.
Okay.
Tuan Haji.
Yes.
Okay. Thanks for the question. I have a question here from Margaret Tai. Tuan Haji, is there any stoma nurse visit you before surgery? Ada nurse stoma visit sama Tuan Haji sebelum surgery? Ini 30 tahun lalu tak tahu ada stoma nurse ke?
So far dalam ingatan saya, you know Miss Wang or not?
Yes, she's online.
Miss,
Miss Wang is here.
Saya admit di hospital Kuala Lumpur. That time Miss Wang salah seorang daripada nurse. Tapi dia orang nurse tu dia tak ada bagi tahulah tentang bag ni, semua dia yang menjaga selepas operation. Pasal ketika itu saya rasa ada terlalu kanser usus ni kita tidak ada ketahui pun pada masa itu, pada 34 tahun yang lalu. Tapi sekarang ni walaupun kita ada kanser usus ni tahap 2, tahap 3, tahap 4 masih boleh sembuh kerana sekarang punya perubatan cukup canggih. Untuk pengetahuan Thomas, saya pernah lari daripada hospital lah, takut untuk doktor kata mesti ada pos, saya lari daripada situ, saya tidak pergi hospital. Tapi setelah beberapa bulan dia tidak baik juga, saya masuk hospital semula. Tapi jangan ikut macam saya lah, jangan ikut macam saya. Kanser ni kalau doktor dah diagnose dia dah ada colorectal cancer ke whatever, pergi saja hospital, let's doctor do their job.
Good. Okay, that's good. Well, sounds like a very, very active life, and he's managed to continue even with with a stoma bag. Okay. Now I have another question from Zul Muhammad. Tuan Haji, macam mana nak atasi kebocoran wafer?
Okay. Wafer ni dia pakai satu piece atau dua piece. Two pieces. Kalau one piece, dia punya wafer is not so thick. Kalau two pieces, dia punya wafer a bit thick. Bila thick, kita punya stomach bila kita squat down, up and down, a little bit bend dia punya stomach kita. So maybe itu yang membuatkan wafer tadi bocor. And satu lagi, wafer ni atau pemakaian bag ni sebaik-baiknya mesti kita kena pakai sendiri. So kita tahu benda ni selesa, lekat atau tidak. Kalau kita mengharapkan orang lain untuk pakaikan, orang yang memakaikan bag tu dia tidak tahu sama ada wafer ni lekat pada badan, pada perut kita atau tidak. Dia kampal saja dah, dia kata okey. Tapi sebenarnya kita kena pakai sendiri, kita kena urut, massage betul-betul dekat wafer tadi so that dia betul-betul stick. Dia kalau betul-betul stick, that wafer, post tu full of feces also, dia tak tercabut. Very strong. So kalau Encik Zul Muhammad tadi kalau pakai sendiri, pastikan Encik Zul Muhammad tadi urut betul-betul di wafer tadi supaya betul-betul lekat. Itu saranan saya lah. Sejauh yang saya memang tidak suruh isteri atau anak-anak saya untuk memakaikan beg untuk saya. Saya pakai sendiri. Karena kita lebih yakin apabila kita pakai sendiri.
Okay. Thank you for that. The next question is from Mr. Ng Ching Chong again. Sorry, I just lost that question. Yeah, Tuan Haji, did the cancer spread to your other parts? And maybe the first question, if I may add to that, is did you have any treatment, any radiotherapy, chemotherapy for your cancer?
Okay. So far, the doctor didn't tell me whether the cell cancer has spread to anywhere. You are very lucky, the doctor said, don't spread anywhere because that time maybe I'm young and I'm still strong to fight for it. The second question is?
Did you do any chemo or anything?
Actually, that time in 1987, so far as I know, there's no chemotherapy. There's only radiotherapy. But the doctor asked me to go for radiotherapy, but I don't go for it. The doctor have marked my stomach, my body, this part. Okay. Tomorrow will come and you have radiotherapy, but I don't go for it. I just ignore. Ignore.
Okay.
Because my father told me, you has operate, it's okay. You still alive. I don't go for radiotherapy because always people say radiotherapy you burns everything. So I said, okay lah, father, whatever you said. That's why I don't go for radiotherapy. But now if the doctor said go for radiotherapy and chemotherapy, better go for it. You fulfill the circle. Don't run away.
Okay. Wow. Sorry. Tuan Haji, you ran away from radiotherapy and you are still around. So very God has been very kind.
Yeah, thanks. It's miracle.
It's a miracle.
I
Yes.
think
Okay.
probably, yeah, because at that time Tuan Haji is still young, so
Yeah.
he a bit rebel on the treatment. But today when we follow his session on the support group, most of the time he will advise them to actually follow the doctor's advice,
Yeah.
do chemotherapy, do radiotherapy as advised by the doctor.
Yeah, just
Tuan
to
Haji.
reinforce, I think Dr. Nadia's and also Tuan Haji's message just now. While he did not go for the radiotherapy, he ran away. He does not recommend that you follow that. If the doctor recommends that you go for treatment, whether it's chemo or radiotherapy, please follow the doctor's recommendations. Okay.
Don't follow me.
Yeah. Okay. The next question is from Angeline to everyone. I'm not sure who can answer this, but can a patient take supplements recommended by nutritionists while undergoing treatment? Maybe Dr. Nadia can address that, or if Tuan Haji knows as well.
Okay, Angeline. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, Angeline,
Okay, Tuan Haji, if you want, Haji nak jawab dulu ke?
Okay. So far, there's no supplement. I don't take any supplement, and the doctor also don't give me any medicine. Just give me ubat tahan sakit, that's all. They don't give me this and that. If you feel sakit, you makan this. Or kalau you sakit sangat, you go to hospital emergency. We take care of it. But I don't take any supplement.
Okay, Dr. Nadia.
Angeline, I would like to add on a little bit. So basically, when we talk about supplement, it's a very broad thing because supplement can consist by a lot of things like vitamins, minerals, and things like that. So when we talk about supplement during chemotherapy, like most of the time we did not recommend any supplement while you undergo chemotherapy because we're afraid that the supplement might affect the treatment. So if you really want to take something, I advise you to ask your oncologist or the doctor who see you, because we also want to know your blood profile, other things like your kidney function, your liver function, and all. So by taking supplement, we don't want it to actually cause more harm than benefit. So my suggestion is better not to take, but if you really want to take it, please ask the doctor or oncologist that is seeing you, because we want, when we are doing chemo, we want it to actually help to shrink the cancer cell, but we don't want any supplement to actually interfere with that process or probably complicate that process. Yeah, so I would advise you to ask the oncologist in charge or the doctor that you are being seen for chemotherapy before taking any supplement.
Okay, so Angeline, I think the answer to your question is perhaps just consult your doctor or your oncologist whether it's okay for you to. Although I note that you mentioned supplements recommended by nutritionists. So presumably it's in the same hospital and that the nutritionist is working together with the oncologist and the doctor, your surgeon. Then perhaps that should be fine. But please, I think, speak to your doctor about this. Okay. I've just posted the feedback form on the chat side. Appreciate if just a quick reminder, if everyone later on can just fill this up so that we can get feedback, good feedback, and also more important for you guys to suggest future webinar topics. Okay. Okay. Question from Zul Muhammad. Tuan Haji. Zul Muhammad is asking you for your contact. Boleh bagi telefon atau email dia nak hubungi Tuan Haji. Nanti kalau or if y'all can message me, I can connect you guys later. If kalau Tuan Haji okay.
Okay, it's okay. I don't have email because I'm retired already. Everything I throw it away. You can contact me by this number 012 632 4947. Okay. You want me to repeat or what? 012-632-4947.
Zul, I will message you privately with Tuan Haji's number, okay?
Okay.
In the message.
Okay.
Terima kasih banyak-banyak.
Okay. Mr. Thomas, can I know how old is Mr. Zul Muhammad?
Encik Zul, can you speak to Tuan Haji?
Sorry,
Tuan Haji is asking how old are you?
I'm 61.
Very young.
61, very young.
Very young.
I'm 62, so I'm older than him.
Okay, Abang. Abang.
Abang.
Okay, Tuan Haji, I have a question for you from Ng Ching Chong again. What is your doctor's diagnosis? That is, what stage of cancer when you were diagnosed?
When I was diagnosed, the doctor told me I was stage 3 because I ran from the hospital and came back after 3 months. After 3 months from the diagnosis, I ran away, and then the doctor told me, you are very lucky. After 3 months, you won't spread anywhere.
Sorry, you were stage 3 when you were diagnosed, and you ran away for 3 months, and you came back and it didn't spread.
Thanks God, it won't spread anywhere. The doctor also said, "Was this miracle? Don't spread anywhere." Because as the doctor told me before, this cell of cancer is spread very fast.
Wow.
It can spread lung, heart, whatever. So you are very lucky.
Wow, that's an amazing story, and 30 years ago. Wow.
And one thing, Mr. Thomas.
Yes.
After I've operated in 1987, 10 years after that, I got 2 kids. Because the doctor told me before the operate, how many kids you have? I said I got 2 kids, or enough. When he said enough, or in my mind, I cannot move, cannot do nothing. So I pray and pray to the gods. 10 years, it will come another 2. So I have 2 kids after 10 years operate.
So now you have 4 children, 2 kids before and 2 kids after operation.
Actually, I got 5. One passed away, and one passed away in the stomach 6 or 7 months, I think.
So sorry to hear that. So sorry to hear that, Tuan Haji.
Yeah.
Okay.
The left now is 3 kids lah. I got 3 all girls. So okay.
Thank God.
Okay.
Okay. I'm just going to check through if there are any other questions. Sorry, in case I missed any. But if anyone else have any questions, please feel free to ask either Dr. Nadia or Tuan Haji.
Okay.
Let me see. Just check. Okay, I think we've covered all the questions. Okay, perhaps I can ask just to recap. I think Tuan Haji mentioned just now about he eats anything at all, and in moderation. Most important is he says he eats in moderation. Makan sedikit-sedikit, jangan terlalu banyak, jangan terlalu and also listen to your body. Kalau yang you makan ada buat angin atau apa, okay, itu kurang sikit makan.
Actually, Mr. Thomas, you know your body. If your body can take this, you can take. If your body, when you take first time, you take. Suppose you take tapioca. If your body cannot, better don't take. Your body will remind you whether you can take this and that.
True.
So take just a small portion and not too much lah.
Very true. Very true. I share that sentiment as well. I am myself not a cancer survivor, but I'm a colorectal surgery survivor. I
Okay.
was on an ileostomy bag for about 5 months before the reversal, and since then I've gone back to eating just about everything, literally. And you know, I just had curry chicken just now for lunch.
Take fish. Take fish a lot is better, Mr.
Yeah.
Chin. Mr. Thomas.
Correct. I agree.
Uh,
I find that I also find that when I take fish, and I take lots of vegetables, but sometimes I feel I take too much vegetables because the stools are a little bit harder.
Okay.
But I take a lot of vegetables and I eat more fish. You're right.
Yeah.
Less so all the red meats, the pork,
Yeah.
the chicken, and all that. But although sometimes you know lah, when kalau ada goreng ayam goreng tak boleh tahan.
Goreng. Yeah, they cannot tahan. The smell of the goreng ni. I think I want to take this one.
Okay. Okay, we're just got a couple more minutes before 6 o'clock. Does anyone else have any questions? If not, while you're thinking of a question, let me just do a summary. So the issue, the you know, Dr. Nadia tells you that it's not just a physical battle, but also a mental. Your
Yeah.
emotion is very, very good, and that's reinforced by Tuan Haji, who says that he ran away more than once. He ran away from radiotherapy. He ran away from the hospital on diagnosis, but he went back. And fortunately, he's well. And 30 years later, he's here sharing with us. But the message he mentioned just now is that he received a lot of support despite all his doubts about wife running away or not wanting him or family not wanting him. He said he received a lot of support from family and also from his employer, so that he doesn't have to lift boxes anymore. So that's very, very kind of them, and you know that's very, very important. And hence that's the reason for this CORUM group and also this webinar is to share our experiences, so that everyone can take, you know, if anything else, take a simple message of look at the amazing Tuan Haji, what he has done in the last 30 odd years since diagnosis. Okay. With that, I don't see any further questions. Just a final reminder, there is the form, feedback form. Appreciate if you all can fill that out, or it was also sent by email. If you all can just fill it out, because that's most important for us to improve, and number two, for you all to suggest ideas on topics that we can use for future webinars. Okay. With that, I will call this to an end, but I would like to thank again Dr. Nadia for presenting as well as organizing this webinar too. And to Tuan Haji Jamil for the amazing sharing, you know, his positivity, and that's I think most of y'all will remember that. So,
Yeah.
Thomas, I think there is one last question from Angeline.
Oh, okay, yes, correct.
Yeah, Angeline. There is a oral chemo. Besides
okay, sorry. Let me before you answer that, Dr. Nadia, let me read the question.
Sorry. Yeah.
Angeline asks, other than injecting chemo drugs into the body, is there oral chemo?
Yeah, Angeline, the answer is yes, but which one you I mean that the oncologist will actually offer either injecting or oral, but it depends on the condition. And the decision is usually you can have the discussion with the oncologist to actually know further about the chemo. Yeah.
Okay, Angeline, does that answer your question?
Yeah.
Okay, before we go off, I've got one more point just to announce. We plan to have our next webinar in end of the month, end of August. Of course, we will send out the confirmations later. This will be another another session on caring, actually by a very, very active member of ours, Mrs. Low. Who will be giving her presentation as a role of a caregiver, because I think that's very important that people don't forget is not like what Tuan Haji has mentioned. You know, he received a lot of support from his family and his employers, who are essentially directly, indirectly his caregivers. So although he did a lot of his own things his way, but you know, that support, those are from caregivers. So that will be our next session. Again, like I said, if there are any other topics that you guys would like, please feel free to message me or email me, or not me, sorry, CORUM, and or put it on the chat group or any way, just get to us and we will one way or another try to arrange it. Okay. Again, with that, there are no further questions, and we've come to the end of the session. So thank you again, Dr. Nadia. And thank you again, Tuan Haji, and most important, thank you the rest of you. There are 31 participants today, which is a very good turnout. Thank you again to all the participants for tuning in, and have a very, very good evening. Okay?
Thanks to you, Thomas, for inviting me to join the quorum, and Dr. Nadia too, and Mr. Zul Muhammad. Thanks for your asking question to me. So anything we see next in quorum or chat or whatever.
Yeah. We will have more online sessions, because we find that I mean this pandemic, COVID pandemic, is there's a blessing there. While it's a disaster, but there's a blessing behind it, because everyone has discovered Zoom, and everyone has started webinars, and it's very useful. The other, perhaps, sorry, not to be long-winded, but just to remind everyone, on Thursdays we have the weekly support group session on webinar. So please tune in as well. And again, if you don't have the link, please contact us and we will send that to you as well. Okay? All right.
Okay.
Thank you, everyone.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye.
Dr. Nadia, you want we stay on for a minute, you and I?
Yeah, sure. Sure. Terima kasih, Tuan Haji.
Terima kasih, Doktor. Thanks to Mr. Thomas, and to you, Zul Muhammad. Good evening.
Thank you to all of you from Wong. Thank you to all of you for a good session. And also, I have to thank June and Jenny if they stay on. I just stay on so that they can actually help to answer some questions. Yeah, thank you.